Getting straight into the top 5 news stories of the day, the CIA is pushing back against the Senate report detailing the harsh interrogation methods used by the organization in the post-9/11 era. Now, current and former agents say the methods used did help give them valuable information. Also speaking out is former Vice President Dick Cheney.
Well, I think it's a terrible piece of work, basically. It seems to me it's deeply flawed. They didn't bother to interview key people involved in the program.
In spite of calls for prosecution, the White and Justice Department say they have no intention to prosecute anyone based off the report. Also coming to light this week are efforts the government had been making to try and spark a youth movement in Cuba using underground rap and hip-hop artists. Documents claim the government was trying to use rap artists without their knowledge to incite change against the government. All this by creating programs like Cuban Twitter and organizing music festivals. The reports say a number of these people were detained and interrogated by the Cuban government, putting the secret program at risk and essentially bringing it to a halt. And authorities are continuing to follow leads in the case of Jessica Chambers, the Mississippi girl who was burned to death over the weekend. Officials are not giving many clues, but they say her final words to first responders may lead to the person or people responsible. Police say that an accelerant was used in the fire, whether on Chambers or her car. They're just not sure yet. A Facebook page called Justice for Jessica has been started in her honor. And in other news, while a nor'easter has been drenching the Northeast with rain, snow, and floods, on the West Coast, California residents are bracing for a river in the sky to rain down on them. The storm brewing in the Pacific is expected to bring plenty of much-needed rain, but also a ton of wind. Crews were out trimming branches ahead of the storm, and schools in San Francisco and Oakland have preemptively closed. Some areas are expected to get up to 10 inches of rain. Jess, of course, will have more in weather. And last in your top 5 news, in case you missed it, Time Magazine has named their Person of the Year, and the honor goes to not one, but several people who have been on the front lines of the Ebola crisis. Of course, they dedicated the cover to the healthcare workers who've been treating patients with the disease. The White House says the nomination is a fitting tribute to the sacrifices the men and women have made. Some other people who made Time's shortlist for the awards include Vladimir Putin, the head of China's Alibaba network, and protesters in Ferguson, Missouri. You know, they say they really wanted to honor people making changes and bring attention to the year's biggest story. I think they made a great choice. Yeah. Obviously, the Ebola crisis was a big one and still ongoing. These fighters, you know, these doctors risk their lives, and I'm not going to lie, I spent many nights up, you know, worrying about it hitting the U.S. in a big outbreak.
Well, to keep us safe.
Exactly,
sure.
They made a great
Literally
choice.
putting their lives on the line, as you said. And I like the fact that it just brings about social change. All the nominees were all people
like
that were
this year has been of that.
It
right?
really has, with Ferguson, Missouri protesters.
Yeah. We're on a good trend.